Okay, I'm going to go over these questions that are similar to the ones that you'll see on the retest. You should follow along on your paper along with me. Okay, we're going to start off with the first one. Zoom in just a little bit. Okay. If B is between A and C, then it gives me some information. We should first draw this out. B is between A and C. And then I should put this information on here. BC is 16.5, and it tells me AC, the whole distance, is 27.2. So what should I do with those? Well, I need to subtract to find this part. Grab my calculator, 27.2 minus 16.5, 10.7. Be sure that you are listening to the sound as you go along, because I don't write everything down that I say. And you should write everything that I do write, plus you should listen to the extra things I'm saying, because those are important things you need to know when you start to work your test. If you don't understand something on the video, pause, rewind it, and if you still don't understand, please come in and ask. Okay, the second one, I still need to draw a picture. It says these are collinear, they're on the same line, and M is between L and N. Lay them all out. LM, 3x plus 1, MN, 2x minus 1, and LN is 25. Well, remember when I colored these, this one plus this one equals the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to write out here. I'm going to draw a big line where my equal sign goes. I suggest you do that. If it's all still on this side together, I just combine it together. 3x and 2x, 3 and 2 is 5. And negative 1 and minus 1. So what do you type in your calculator on this, because I've had several people ask me, is 1, and then this is just minus 1. I could also think of this as being 1 plus a negative 1, and that's still 0. Those add up to 0. And I get that's 25. And so divide by 5. X equals 5. But was this what they asked me to find? No. And on the test, most of the time they're not asking for X. You need to go back and look at what you're looking for. I'm looking for LM. That's this one here. So I'm going to plug it in here. And I'm going to plug it in and I'm going to do 3 times 5, because that's a times in there, plus 1. So that's 16. There's my answer. Alright, the next one. Now it's telling me it's the midpoint. If I know it's the midpoint, it means it's exactly in the middle, and these two sides are equal. So I know that L is in the middle, and they tell me ML is 4x minus 8, and they tell me LN is 3x minus 4. This time I don't know the whole distance like here I did, but what I do know is these two are equal, so that's my equation. So I'm once again going to draw a line where the equal sign goes, and I want to move this x over here. When it's on both sides of the equal sign, I have to do the same thing to both sides. So I'm going to minus 3x. So I have x minus 8 equals negative 4. The equal sign helps me keep stuff straight, because now I know I want this x by itself, so I need to move the 8. So I'm going to plus the 8 so that the 8 cancels. This side of the big line where the equal sign is just x, and this side is 4. Again, they didn't ask me for x, they want me to plug it in for mn, which is the whole thing. Well, I don't know what mn is, but I can plug it in for both of these. This one is 4 times 4 plus, minus 8. That's 8, because that's 16 minus 8. And this one here is 3 times 4, plugging in, minus 4. So that's 12 minus 4 is 8. These were supposed to be the same, so that's good. And then what's the whole distance? Well, it's 8 plus 8 is 16. Alright, the next one. Point C lies in between K and L. And you can do this with the formula where we said the middle point I'm looking for, C, and I'm going to show you the formula way we wrote it in class, which was A plus the fraction of B minus A, where A and B were just these 2 points. If it helps you to remember, just mark off the letters they've got there and do it with our letters that matched our problem. So this right here is just finding this total distance. It's 15 minus negative 9. You could also just add up how far this is. The fraction is 1/4, and the A is just wherever I'm starting over here. So when I do 15 plus 9, or 15 minus negative 9, that's a plus, I get that that whole thing is 24 long. Well, 1/4 of it is 1/4 times 24. I can do that on the calculator. That's 6. So 6 units over is where the point's going to be. So starting here, I'm going to go over 6. Notice this is not counting by ones. And negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. I end up right there. That's the point. You can always draw this out and look at it. That's halfway, and those would be quarters. That's 1/4 of the way over. It's divided into 4 equal parts. What if they don't draw me a line? Well, you still work it the same way. A, it says, is at negative 9. C, it says, is 21, and we're looking for the one in the middle. I really suggest you just put on here the letters that we use in our formula so that you don't get confused. I know that these letters I just put on here, these match my formula, where C is my middle number I'm looking for. It doesn't match the problem because the problem put different letters. I can still just use the formula, the letters that fit in the formula we used. This is always this end. The fraction this time is 1/3. B is this end. This tells me how long the distance is times the fraction minus that. Last time I kind of did it in pieces. This time I'll just put it all in at once. Negative 9 plus 1/3 times 21 minus negative 9. Just plug it all in all at one time. And the answer is at 1. If I go over, it's going to be just right about there. Well, C is going to be at 1. This was not drawn to scale, so you can't tell looking at that. You could, if you wanted, to go in and start at negative 9 and go negative 8, 7, 6, all the way to 21 and graph the 1 on there and see if it looks right. Alright, now I've got a picture here and I'm going to find the midpoint. I've noticed that a couple of people are still not really good at this. If this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, sometimes they don't label every single point. So if they don't label every single one, you can always go in there and put the extra numbers in there, if that helps you. And remember that when I'm doing where coordinates are, the first one is the x and the second one is the y. So the first one is saying how far along this line is it? Well, this one is this way, negative 2, and it's up 0. This one over here is along the x line. It's at 6, and it's up 4. So remember, that's always x and y. Then I'm going to use that with my midpoint formula, which was it doesn't matter which order I put my two x's in here because I'm just going to add them together anyway. So my x's are the first one in each one. That's where you have to be careful that you're getting the x's together. And then my y's are the second ones. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4 over 2 is 2. And here I've got 4 over 2 also over 2, which is 2. And that tells me my point's at 2, 2. I'm very sorry about that. There's a dog barking behind my house. My little dog has to bark too. Okay, so that gave me 2, 2. And so I can go over and I can plot this. Over 2, up 2. And then I can look at it. Does that look like it's in the middle? It should. I'm giving you extra scratch paper when you do the test or the retest. Go back and plot each one of these and make sure they look right before you turn it in. Okay, the other half of this is going to be on the second video, so please watch that.